Hello, friends. One day we met an atheist friend. We talked to him for about 3 hours. He had some questions. For example, he said, "Bro, a work of art like you mentioned requires an artist. So nothing can come into existence by itself or by chance. You're speaking logically," he said. "But you say God is one. He has no spouse, partner, helper, or supporter. So the God you say created us. You say he has no spouse, partner, helper, or supporter. Well, the God you say created us. Why not 2, 3, 4, or 5? Doesn't he have any helpers?" He asked, "What evidence do you have for someone?" That's a good question. So, what's the answer? Cars know how to honk. In city traffic, people get really aggressive and angry. Aren't there any waits at the red light? It's driving him crazy, really. So, the light is bright yellow, and then suddenly, a horn sounds from behind. "Hey buddy, hold on a second, what's going on? Let's get ready, let's shift the car into gear. Let's take our foot off the clutch." Of course, friends, there's no such problem. He has a car, it's fully automatic. Actually, if everyone follows the traffic lights properly, it saves lives. Especially there's this thing called the green wave, which I personally really love. You've probably seen it too. Sometimes when you're going into the city, it says on a sign, he says the green wave is at 60 kilometers. So, what this means is this: there's no need to rush. If you can adjust your speed to 60 km per hour from the moment you see that sign, you can pass through every traffic light without hitting a red one. Of course, if there's no red light, that means there's no anger, no stress either. This green wave system is set up in such a way that, let's say, on a 5-kilometer road, there are 6 traffic lights. Of course, if there's no red light, that means there's no anger, no stress either. This green wave system is set up in such a way that, let's say, on a 5-kilometer road, there are 6 traffic lights, and the distances between them are different. Despite that, the timing of the traffic lights in those intervals has been meticulously calculated based on speed and road conditions, so that a car can pass through without hitting any red lights at a speed of 60 km per hour. Of course, even though there are technicians working there, there's an engineer who plans and manages the whole thing. And there's an engineer, my friend, who makes all sorts of calculations and puts that program into action. Or think of it this way, my friend. Your house's front faces the busiest street in terms of traffic. At that moment, seriously? He said that you chose one car out of so many and started to watch it. You see that the car is stopping at red and going at green. It's following its path in an orderly manner and definitely not straying from its lane. In fact, it's not even overtaking. So, can you say that this car is moving on its own on that road? Can you say that? Of course you can't say that. This is something that reason cannot accept, my brother. It is absolutely necessary that a vehicle moving in an orderly manner must have a driver in some way. There must be a driver and someone to manage it. So, what would happen if there were not just one driver, but 2? So, what would happen if we assumed there were 2 steering wheels in the car? Nothing would happen because the vehicle wouldn't even move. Even if you're at a driving school, there's a brake on the side where the experienced instructor is sitting. You know. You step on the gas, but what happens if at that moment they step on the brake? That car wouldn't move at that moment. So, an orderly action does not occur. My brother, while this is the case, we need regulatory lights for our traffic and an engineer to manage them. And there must be a driver for a vehicle moving in an orderly manner. Despite this, accidents are still happening in our country, right? So, among the billions of stars that adorn the face of the sky, have you ever heard of any accident news? Between the dozens of planets, Venus collided with Neptune. There are this many injured, and there are fears of an increase in the death toll, like a situation like that. Is there such an event? No. And according to cosmography, the movement they have been in has been going on for billions of years. It's not just a few years. None of them crash into each other. It's not disrupting the order. If someone is lost for a minute or is a vagrant, if a star collides, it would shatter and cause endless chaos in the vastness of space, leading to confusion in the sky and triggering every kind of disaster, my brother. So, is it possible for such orderly operations to be left to blind forces, rogue nature, and unconscious causes? No. So, if multiple hands are involved in that job, can it maintain its order? Forget about protection. Order can't even come into existence, my brother. Why? Because if multiple hands get involved in a job, that job gets messed up. Just think, there can't be 2 kings in a country, 2 governors in a city, or even 2 headmen in a village, my brother. So, what would happen if it did? In every matter of that country, that city, and that village, a counterpart begins. So what does that mean? A regular action. A single doer who carries out that action is required, my brother. Trust in Allah? Alright, take care.